Welcome to More Than Renovating, a Renovate and real estate podcast. Our founder, Belinda Smith, talks to industry experts to provide you with the knowledge and information you need to make renovating for love and profit your reality. Belinda will also chat to some of her Renovation Mastery members, who are just everyday people doing extraordinary things, following their passions in the renovation and property space. So, let's jump straight into the episode. Enjoy.
So welcome everybody to the Renovate and Real Estate podcast. This is our first one, the first one in a series. And my first person is Cindy Rickard. And Cindy is a student of mine in Renovation Secrets. And Cindy has got a beautiful story to tell. And I'm just going to ask Cindy a series of questions and let's see what's in Cindy's mind and how she ended up down the renovation path. So Cindy, first of all, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Belinda.
Look, it's really nice to start this podcast off. And like I was saying to you just before we went live, this is just about real people and real results. Some of my ordinary people are doing extraordinary renovations, and I've seen the photographs of what you've been able to produce. And I know you said that your daughter made you take the before and after shots, which is really nice. First of all, tell me a little bit about your background. Like, where did you grow up?
Grew up in Melbourne, went to uni and then got into marketing and started working in the corporate world and met my husband. We moved to Point Cook in Melbourne with a project builder. That was our first house. And we did the bare bones with them and we did the tiling. As much as they would let us do, we did ourselves. And we just loved it. We loved the fact that we could contribute to our own house. We had 2 children in that house. And then we decided that we didn't really like living in the suburbs in Melbourne and we wanted to move more towards the beach and have a bit more of a relaxed lifestyle. So we did that. We moved down past Geelong and we've been here now for 9 years. Absolutely love it down here. We bought an older style property and we did a bit of a block style reno. We spent 6 weeks smashing out a renovation and we just loved it. And it was so much fun and just every aspect of it. I loved that we could bring this old 80s house back and make something old, new and exciting and fun. And I loved that we were repurposing an old building instead of knock down, rebuild or building with a project builder on a small block of land. So that's sort of, I guess, started our love for it. We did have 2 investment properties in Ballarat and we had them tenanted probably for 10 years each. We pretty much got sick of tenants. We had some great ones, but we had some terrible ones as well. And we spent a lot of time problem solving, spent a lot of money paying for damages and tenants that wouldn't pay rent. And we decided, as much as we love property, we didn't like the tenants and we still wanted to be involved. So we thought we would renovate them. And that was kind of the start for us. And we've hoped to turn it into a business.
Okay, so I'll wind you back a little bit. So you and your husband, what's your husband's name? Paul. Sounded exactly the same as Brett and I. We did our first home, or we'd renovated a unit and sold that. And then our next home, we had a builder work on it and we completed as much as we could ourselves. So how much did you learn by doing it that way?
Oh, so much. You learn tons. It's a fantastic experience. And I think doing it yourself, you learn what works, what doesn't work, what you like. It's
definitely slower doing them that way, but when it's your own place of residence, it doesn't really matter that much because you're in there for the long haul anyway. And so did you grow up loving property, you and your parents, or?
No, not really. No, I grew up in the same house. My parents moved there when I was 10 months old and I lived there until I was 22.
So how did you get the understanding that if you could complete it yourself, that you would make money or save money or just be able to go and buy a better property later on? Like, what gave you can you remember?
Yeah, so my husband is an electrician. He's very handy, very clever, can do a lot of things. And when we were building, we were very young. I think we were 25. So
it's young.
We were tight for money. We didn't have a lot of money and we needed to look at ways that we could have the house we wanted, but also afford the things we wanted. So we had a chat with the builder and asked what things we could cut out of their quote that we were able to do ourselves. And our builder luckily was quite good. And there were things we could do our own flooring on the first floor, so the kitchen, living area. We were able to do parts of our own electrical with Paul being an electrician. We did, they wouldn't let us do painting, but we did all our own concreting, driveway, things like that. So things like that saved us a huge amount of money. We did, however, go without tiles downstairs for about 5 months. We also went without heating for about 5 months as well.
I mean, your story sounds really similar to mine. We did without a few things too. And in the end, I always say that so long as you've got somewhere to cook, somewhere to plug in your cooking appliances, and you've got somewhere to shower and somewhere to sleep, everything else is just an added bonus. Yeah. All right. So where did the investment properties fit into that journey? So you bought that house. How far had you finished that house completely first before you started to think about drawing out some equity and buying investment properties? Or
no, we hadn't. I should mention too, everybody, I've had a stroke about 5 months ago and I'm still in recovery, so my speech is a little bit hit and miss. Apologies. Hope you can all understand me, but I'll do my best. We bought our first investment property, I think it was probably 12 months to 2 years after we moved into our first house. That kind of started it. We then bought our second investment property about 2 years after that as well. And we were a bit maxed out because we had 2 kids as well. And we're trying to pay 3 mortgages with problem tenants. Yeah. So we sort of slowed down from there.
Tell me why those tenants were problems. And do you think that was like because of the rental manager? Did you rent the places out yourself? Like what was behind those issues?
We went through an agency and I can't fully blame the agency. I think they did their best. I think some of it came down to bad luck. We had some great tenants. Unfortunately, one tenant was in 2014, had a huge drug party at one of the houses and it got absolutely destroyed. The house was full of asbestos as well, so in the internal walls. So when they trashed it, they smashed walls. Pretty much everything they could damage, they did, and it cost us a real lot of money. Insurance didn't cover it all. Having the asbestos needing to be removed was a major expense. So that was sort of the start of it, really, and the start of our decision, I guess, to move away from tenants.
I've had some wonderful experiences, and unfortunately you didn't have those same kind of experiences. So I can understand thinking about another strategy, or you would consider another strategy. So asbestos, you're right. I mean, if it was left alone and they hadn't have damaged that asbestos, you could have just kind of, painted and off you go. But when it's damaged like that, then it really becomes an issue. It comes to the forefront. So you were forced to do something that you didn't expect to pay for as well. And some insurance companies are better than others. Must read the fine print always. Financially though, did you come out okay? I know it cost you a lot of money to repair that particular property. Was it both or one that got damaged?
Just one property.
One. So it took time, a lot of energy. It's disappointing, especially when you've done it so that it's nice to rent out and then the next minute it gets wrecked. But did you come out winning financially in the end? Like, did the property go up significantly in value during that time?
So we were lucky. We did make it back when we sold. I guess that was when we then decided to look at having done that and having sold and made money. We thought, oh, wow, we can do this again, and we can do it, I guess, in an area that we choose. I'd been putting a lot of research in and I'd picked the areas that I wanted to do it in. It had to be somewhere that was close to us so that we were able to spend our weekends working on the property, spend time after work and things like that. And then having sold that, we were able to buy our next property. And yeah, we bought the property in 2019, in October 2019, and we finished it in January of this year. So it did take us a while, but we knew it was going to take a while because we were doing it on weekends. We both worked full time at that stage and trying to fit kids in as well. So it was a slow process, but it was so much fun and it was just loved it.
Did you involve the kids at all in the process?
We tried to. Helped in the garden. They helped with demo. Demo was good. They liked doing the demo. But it was nice to do it as a family, and they could also be there. So while we were doing it, because it was nearby, we could have them with us. They'd be in the garden or smashing down some walls. That was a hit, actually, the smashing down the wall. It was a good day. So
they like to pick and choose what they want to do. I had one of mine painting the inside of a linen press, and she said she'd never do that again. It was hot and it was cramped. So she said, I'm never doing that again, Mum. That's fair enough. So they like to pick and choose. That's all good. Do you still have that property, or did you sell that one as well?
We sold that one earlier this year.
Okay, so you sold that one to free up some cash flow so that you could go and perhaps do a quick flip.
Yes.
Excellent. In amongst all of this, we kind of glossed over it, and it's not a big gloss over. Tell me about falling ill and how that's impacted your progress, or what difference that will make with what you choose to do career-wise in the future.
It's has been a big year for me.
Yeah, I know.
Basically, what happened, we spent the end of last year, from November onwards of last year, it was extremely hectic, both working. We were trying desperately to get the property finished because the market, with the way it was, we were hoping to sell when the market was up, not knowing what was going to happen. We thought, we better quickly finish this and sell it and get on to the next one. So we spent all of the January, the holidays, working on the property. We had it ready by early Feb. In between having it ready, I happened to see a property that I just loved the look of, and we went to see it. The entire family fell in love with it, and we decided to put in an offer. So it was not a flip property. It was definitely a renovation, but not one that we would flip. So throwing into the mix, buying a property for us to live in as a family, when that had not been a factor at all, it hadn't been in the equation at all, that was a big deal, which then meant we had to get our property ready for sale. We'd done the renovation, so that was okay. We put it on the market, and then I had a stroke. And it was a pretty severe stroke. It was put me in the hospital for a little while, and I was completely paralysed down my left. Yeah, it was a bit touch and go for a little while, and I spent a lot of time in rehab, trying to recover, learning to walk, learning to talk, which I'm not very good at that.
Don't sell yourself short. I smile every time you say I can't, I've just forgotten a word, and I think, God, I forget words all the time. I think we all do. Yeah, you've done remarkably well. Your recovery has been amazing, but you've put the work in, clearly.
Well, one of my, you have to make goals. So when you go to rehab, you have to make goals for yourself on what you want to do. And my first goal was to climb a ladder to the height of a roof gutter so that I can paint. And I had to, my other goals they were all revolved around renovating. Anytime I had visitors, they'd bring in interior design and property things, and they all knew that I wanted to get back to renovating. So it was great, because I'd been working all different pieces, different sorts of jobs, trying to get the money together to be able to start a flipping business. And I guess that really just consolidated for me the fact that this is actually what I want to do full time. All this other junk that I was doing on the side, I needed to stop and concentrate on flipping and finding a strategy that will allow us to do that full time.
What is it about the lifestyle that attracts you so much to flipping full time?
Everything about it. I love researching for properties. I love going to look at properties. Paul, not so much. He does get over the inspections. So I put in the legwork, and I just take him to the ones that I think are worthy. I love designing it. I love walking into a property and going, oh, wow, we can do this, 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 and this.
Do you see it? When you walk into a property and you say, we can do this, this, and this, so you already see it in your mind's eye?
Yes, I do. I see exactly what I would do with it.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, the husband agrees.
Yeah. Sometimes they stack up the work. We just see it all finished, like it's so glamorous, it's already done, like in an instant. So sometimes the partners see the amount of work it takes, they're more real about the amount of work it takes to get from there to there. But it truly is a talent when you can walk through a place and it be unrenovated, but you can already identify the changes that you would make. And if you can do it in a heartbeat, that truly is a gift.
I feel like I walk into a house and I just love being able to imagine what I would do to it. I also love, not that I'm against knockdown rebuilds and any of that, but I love that you can take an old house that's been unloved and uncared for, and you can turn it into something spectacular, and you can give it back life. And I love the physical aspect of it. I even love painting. I'm not very good at it. I end up with more paint on myself, but I love it. I love being hands-on. I love learning new things. I did all the skirting in the house that we just sold and all the caulking. It's probably the wrong word, but so I love being hands-on, and then I love seeing the finished product and just being able to look back and see what we've done as a team. It's great.
So emotionally rewarding as well as
Absolutely.
obviously financially rewarding.
Yes.
I think that's what keeps people at it. That's what makes people truly addicted. And also, like when you're not well and you've got some goals in front of you and you're physically recovering, and then you're doing stuff around a house that also helps you move your body and push yourself beyond if you wanted to stay in comfort zone, renovation's not the place to play, No. Like renovating is making quick decisions, and it is pushing your body and your mind beyond say, watching Netflix on TV. There's no challenges engaged in that. So congratulations. It's really nice to watch you and your journey. So what are you working on at the moment, do you think?
We're working on our current house. I did get stopped a bit because in hospital I was on the phone to the real estate agent asking her what properties she had coming up, and she did have one up, and I think it was the first weekend I was out of hospital. I did actually go to an open inspection, and the property was amazing, but I got pulled back and got told if this was 6 months down the track, it would be an absolute goer. But I got told for the next 6 months we just have to concentrate, because we also had to move our own house. So I got out of hospital, and 2 weeks later we moved our own property. So we're now trying to settle into the new house and work out we don't know what, sorry. We know exactly what we're doing, because when we walked in, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It's like it's a single-story house built on top of a garage, so we plan on moving down underneath. But the property needs a lot of work. We've just had it underpinned, so we're ready to start work on the kitchen. So it's very exciting. I've had a lot of time to do planning. I don't know if there'll be much physical stuff involved for me just yet, but that's what's happening.
Well, you've done the hard yards physically, you and Paul, so there's nothing to say that from here on in you have to take on so much of the physical stuff. You could just take on the stuff that you feel comfortable doing. And health is really important long term, so no point pushing it beyond. So
I kept getting told.
But setting those goals, I know. It's really hard. When you're a go-getter, it's really hard to be told to chill just a little bit. They're not words we like to hear, but sometimes it's in our best interest. So take it easy, Cindy.
Thanks. I'll try.
Thanks. At the same time, I'm always like, go, go, go.
I've painted a few things, I must admit.
Yeah. There's been some people in our group before who've had renovation or lent on renovation. They might have lost a partner or, a parent, and they've been putting their energy into a renovation as a way of healing and as a way of throwing their focus from one thing to the next as well.
I think that's what I've done as well. I've really used the dream of setting up our own business to renovate for ourselves. I've used that to motivate me to get better. I'm not up a ladder yet. I can climb up a step ladder, which is a really good start. So I can get 2 steps up a step ladder, but I'm a little way off the gutter, but I think in six months I should be pretty close.
I think you've only got to get up the ladder enough to push the kids up the extra, the final 4 steps. Give that to one of those youngsters. Oh, look, I'm super proud of you, and I'm so pleased that you're inside the community. I can't wait to see what you do in the future. I want you to take your time and enjoy the process. I love it. You don't even realize, but your face just totally lit up when you were talking about renovating and changing houses and how you see it already done. And so does mine, and so do people inside the community. So it's really nice. It's what makes it exciting and joyful. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think if you're thinking about renovating, just do it. I think if you think too much, you won't do it. So just take the step and do it. It's so rewarding and it's so much fun and you get so much out of it. Yeah, it's an experience that is, I think if you do one, you'll be hooked.
Hooked for life.
Absolutely.
And then you're down that rabbit hole. I agree. Thanks so much, Cindy.
Thanks, Belinda.